What's going on here?
I feel UMG listened to what everybody was saying online and just put it in legal terms.
Yeah.
They really just called out Drake for all the hypocrisy and just so the history of it, we all know. Drake assumed UMG. They came back and they're like, hey, you're just salty that you lost this rap battle. And actually Drake is saying that they're putting his safety.
But they basically said, like, you lost a battle. You always pretend to be unbothered. Yeah. This clearly bothers you a lot. It was a battle you provoked. Yeah. Also, you accused him, if you're worried about defamation of character, before he said anything about you with kids, not only did you talk about him being a child or abusing his girl, you also invited him to talk about this in the tailor-made freestyle when he's like, talk about it with underage girls. That's a gift from Joe Budden or whatever. Yeah. That's you talking, saying, hey, why don't you talk about this? So you're inviting him to talk about it. He talks about it, and now he's putting your safety in danger.
Has Drake ever spoken about his justification for this lawsuit?
No.
Like, nobody's asked him about it?
I'm sure people have asked him. Drake's a guy that has platforms that if he wants to use, he can.
Yeah. He's not talking about it publicly at all.
Yeah.
And it's funny, he's doing the thing that they accuse him of doing, the rapper who acts unbothered, but then behind the scenes, you're doing this shit.
Yeah. And it's very,
it's very petty. They're quoting his lines and shit like that. Like, it's really funny the way they came back.
So if he drops this, I mean, it's just, is it a massive L? Do we just move on? Does anybody care at
they
this
can never
point?
make me hate Drake.
Isn't that crazy?
They're trying to make me hate Drake, bro. It's never going to work.
They said he signed a public petition that criticized prosecutors using lyrics against artists. So, like, you signed a petition saying you shouldn't be able to use an artist's lyrics against them. They're just lyrics. And now you're suing us for this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, again, it's...
Well, I think that the lawsuit says that they were specifically inflating and promoting the song.
Yeah.
Which had the inflammatory lyrics. But I don't think the lawsuit is about the inflammatory lyrics. I think it's about the inflation of the song.
Yeah, but I think he's saying the lyrics specifically is what is putting his health or his safety in risk.
Right.
He's not saying UMG promoting the stream. You are promoting a song which will bring violence toward me. Look at the lyrics of the song. Calls me a child molester.
Right. But again, just so we understand what we're saying here, he's not saying you put out a song that has these lyrics. It's you are inflating it.
Yeah.
Over normal amounts.
Yeah.
So I think it's about the inflation, not the lyrics.
Yeah.
But the inflation, the manufacturing of that inflation could add harm. So if you up it 20%, now you've increased 20% of the harm. So I'm suing you for that 20%, not what the lyrics are there.
And I think this is why...
But do you understand?
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is why United has to find a different way. I'm sorry, UMG has to find a different way to go at him, because I think the only thing they could say is, we do this for every artist. We've done this for you. Yeah. But they can't say that, because then that blows up their business model. So they have to find, hey, just dismiss this case with prejudice.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Yes. So kind of Drake's calling out the business in a way where the business has to acknowledge that they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he was the beneficiary.
Yeah.
But I guess he's also saying, if all things are fair, I'll still beat all these motherfuckers.
So I think that was his goal. His goal is just to blow this whole shit up. Like, let's take the curtain down and let's just...
Because really, if the curtain's down, he's still going to beat them. Maybe they all get 30% less, but he still beats them.
Yeah.
But there are other people that might be the beneficiaries of that inflation more than him. Mm-hmm. In others, like, again, we're talking about this on Brilliant Idiots, but like, there are a lot of people that can get like a #1 album for a week or a #1 song for a week. And then the next week, the streams die.
Yeah.
I think... Was Russ saying that on the pod? Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
He's like, so basically you can buy a #1 and then the next week nobody really knows about it.
Yeah. But you went #1, that's all that matters.
100%.
And you go on #1 might make people listen to it. Well, the song's #1, let's listen to it.
But and then, exactly, so you can manufacture it, and then that manufactured #1 can potentially turn into a legit #1, or it cannot.
Yeah.
And but maybe he's like, I'd rather be on a level playing field with everybody because I'm still going to fuck these people up.
Yeah. So he's just showing everyone's cards, pulling the curtain down from everything, and just being like, yo, this is how the business works.
But the business might be more helpful to these other artists than Drake.
For sure.
So he's like, all right, let's tear this whole shit down. I'm going to be the one that wins in the end.
I'm assuming that's the case if he's willing to go at the label.
That's interesting. So they haven't dropped the lawsuit. This is just UMG continuing trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, because they can't be honest. They can't be honest and say this helps everybody that we've covered, including you. We should make Drake look a little bad, but also like this is our business model, so we have to protect that.
Yeah, but they're basically admitting that they can inflate a song and make it bigger than it actually is. Yeah. So now, whoa, if he wins this, some people go, yeah, but it worked for you too. He goes, yeah, okay, it worked for me. But they admitted they made it bigger than it was supposed to be. And my songs that I released weren't made bigger than they were supposed to be because I didn't release them through UMG or whatever the fuck it is. So then this could work out for Drake still.
I don't know, because I think
legally,
legally. I don't think the public opinion is going to really care.
I don't. If UMG has to come out and say, yeah, we inflated it by 50%, I think that now the song is an absolute banger.
That's
a huge hit.
That's the thing.
100%. But if you're a Drake fan, you go, oh shit, the only reason it was like that is because they inflated by 50%.
Drake fans.
Drake fans.
I already believe that.
I'm already Drake fans have not been talked out of anything.
What's this Billboard thing about? Billboard is changing the way that they count sales. Have you guys seen this?
No. Academics posted something. I forget what it was. I could try to find it.
What, now they're like including streams in a different way?
Yeah, or they're counting them in a different way. And if they've showed that you are using bots, then they will suspend your account for 12 months or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, wow.
But it's Billboard's acknowledgement that bots are being used.
Yeah.
You don't put out a precautionary
digital
measure.
album sold via an artist label or other official website must now be redeemed in order to be chart eligible. In addition, verification using HCAPTCHA is now required to prevent bots.
Wow.
So HCAPTCHA is that thing where you have to type in the code to prove you're a real person. Yeah. So how do you do that for every single stream? Every time I play a song, I got to do an HCAPTCHA?
Yeah, minimum prices of albums increasing at all retailers: $7.99 for CD, $7.99 for cassette, $15 for vinyl.
Is it for like buying albums?
Yeah, and I think they said if you drop it on like another site, like outside of the streamers or something like that, you know how Kanye's dropping his music and stuff like that on his own website.
So those could be more easily manipulated.
Yeah.
Any D2C store with 3 submissions of illegitimate data within a 12-month period may receive a minimum 90-day reporting suspension.
So direct to consumer, is that when you're selling merch with your album? Like, is that the bundle stuff?
Maybe.
That, or if you're selling it on your own site.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow. So they're basically acknowledging that their formula or algorithm has been manipulated.
Yeah.
And whoa.
Which everyone kind of knew, but it was never really confirmed by any of the big like leaderboards.
Yeah. I mean, people said this a lot about, I mean, not to shit on Travis, obviously he's a megastar, but they're like, if you're selling a bundle with the album, it's going to make the sales look this big, when in reality there are people that are buying merch or they're buying these other little artifacts that have to do with the album, which I don't think should reflect poorly on Travis, because it just means his fans really want to consume his stuff. But those same people that are consuming on Spotify might also buy the album over here just to get access. So now you have the same person that's buying twice. So you don't get a real idea of like how many people are consuming the music.
That's where I don't think this is going to be a win for Drake, because exactly what you said about Travis. I don't think that should affect the way we look at Travis. I don't think it will affect the way we look at the artist. It's what you always say. It's how do we feel? I think we generally feel Not Like Us was an absolute fucking smash, and Hard Part 6 was just like a big L, and that's just what it is.
Okay.
Numbers can be numbers.
I agree with you, but I do think that, like, I'll bring this back into the special that we just put out. So we were like top 2 for the first week, and then we've been in top 10 for the second week. Now, Netflix telling me, all these people telling me, the agents telling me that like usually specials don't stay in the top 10 for that long. They don't even stay for the week, let alone be in there for a second week. It's like very rare. So to me, what I see that as like, okay, we could do great promotion. We did a sick video with Matt Damon, shout out, man. We could get the first day tons of people to watch. And usually there's just this fall off. To have a second week, it means people are telling other people to watch it. That's the only way it can go. People, obviously I'm doing promo, I'm doing these press, these interviews are coming out, more people are hearing it, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's like, are people enjoying it and are other people consuming it? right? So I think there is something to like that longevity with the consumption. And I do compare that to what Russ was saying about music, where it's like day one, big hit, and then next week, not a single stream or very few.
This happens with podcasts. Someone will launch a new podcast. It goes number one for a couple days, and then it drops off.
And then it's like they go, okay, I got the number one podcast.
Rogan, and then Rogan will come back up a week later.
So it's not actually that. So I think this is Billboard trying to adjust for like to have a more accurate understanding of how many people are really consuming, because really intelligent record companies and artists have found a way to kind of like trick it to make it look like this big success when in reality it's not. Travis is going to be a huge success no matter what. We've seen him perform in fucking Rome for like all of Italy, it looked like. It's not going to be Travis, but there might be another artist like I don't know, what's her, like Megan Thee Stallion or something, could pop for like a day and then nobody listens to the album after that. And then you go, wait, are people listening? Like what exactly is happening here? And I think it is on Billboard to tell us if people are listening or not.
Also, someone that's a huge megastar still would benefit from this because they're going against other megastars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like someone like Travis or Meg or some other type of massive celebrity is going against Taylor or going against some other type of ultimate megastar that they need to, you know, they would benefit from like a little sweetener.
Absolutely.
It's also reining in, from what I've read, what artists can do. So like they can't release more than 4 different types of the album: deluxe version, regular album, blankety blank. They're potentially before releasing 10 different albums, different songs.
Because your super fans are going to buy it 10 different times.
And you can only change the cover like a few times. Like it's sort of consolidating what artists are able to do.
It allows a artist that's not as famous or not as successful to have a fighting chance. And right now they don't. Like if you're a super big artist, if Taylor's dropping the same day as like indie rock artists, the indie rock artist has no fucking chance. Because even if people don't like Taylor's album, her label can just buy the fucking streams and guarantee her the number one. So to me, it's cooler that like an indie rock artist with an amazing album that people are like really fucking with has a chance to knock out one of these big time acts. Like that's fire.
Yeah.
But is it doing anything to the streamers where it's like they can buy the bots on Spotify or Apple or any of those places? Like, is it preventing that in any way?
I don't know. I don't know enough to tell you. I assume, but maybe not. Maybe it's just on these like, was it third party sites or whatever?
Yeah. Because that would be worse for the indies.
Then they'd be completely screwed. Yeah. It is peculiar that they would do it. I don't know if Billboard is owned by these big streamers, but it's in the best interest of the record labels who own a piece of the streamers to control that market as much as they possibly can. They want to be able to turn it up on their artists, and they want to be able to kind of ignore the ones that they're not signed to or they don't have signed to them. So it does seem like it's kind of democratizing the way that we review how much music has been consumed, which is not in the best interests of UMG. And if UMG and these other big streamers own, big companies own parts of Spotify, that's not in their best interest either. Like you want to create the illusion if you need to. Hopefully you don't have to, but you want to if you need to. Yeah. Because they've got so much money invested in them.
Can't they just ask Spotify, be like, yo, are 50% of the streams coming from India? You know what I mean? Like, couldn't they just look at the back end and be like, yeah, you're getting all your streams from India. It's probably bots.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't Spotify just cut that shit out?
I think Spotify came out not too long ago.
Spotify's getting paid by the, sorry to interrupt, but like Spotify's getting paid per stream. So if the record label wants to spend money streaming them, Spotify's getting paid. They're not going to be like, please don't give us your money. They're in the business of people streaming the music. So whether it's a bot or not, they're getting their 3 cents or, you know, fraction of a penny or whatever it is per stream. So why would they say no to it? As long as they're getting paid every single time.
But are they getting the same money if it's just a bot?
They have to be.
Like, how does it work? Like subscription, ads, stuff like that?
No, I think every time a song gets played, they have to pay a certain amount of money to Spotify. Or no, Spotify has to pay a certain amount of money to the record label.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That Spotify's hosting is they're licensing it from the label, so they have to pay the label.
Holy shit. So
in my mind, Spotify would be like, yeah, we're not getting any money from these subscriptions from some random house. And
so they should, if anything, it's costing them more to have bots. So they should want to get rid of bots.
I think they are cracking down on bots. Like I'm pretty sure I saw this a couple months ago where Spotify is like, oh, if like 80% of your streams are coming in bots, we're going to start penalizing you. Like they know what's going on, and they're like, now they're trying to cap it. Where we'll still let you do it, but just not so aggressively as you've been doing it. Could you look that up, Joey, to see?
Because every single one of those bots doesn't have a Spotify account that they're spending money monthly on, right? A lot of them are probably listening on like the free version where you got to have ads. And if if the advertisers find out that a large percentage of the people consuming music on Spotify aren't even real, they'll reduce their, what is it, per click spend.
Well, I think Indians are real people, but it does like, it's just some Sri Lankan dude like listening to like music all day, listening to ads and shit.
Well, is it even him, or does he have like a farm?
Yeah, probably a farm where it's 1,000 phones and they all like, you've seen those the farms, right?
So
where it's just phones all across the whole wall.
So if you're spending for 1 million streams, or if you're spending for 1 million people to watch your advertisement on Spotify, and then you find out 250,000 of those people are just one guy in Sri Lanka with a lot of phones, or a handful of these people, you're like, all right, well, I'm only going to spend 750,000 because 250 is now 25% of your revenue is out the door. You got to clean that bot shit up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
So this might work out. Maybe it doesn't change the way that we see Drake. It doesn't change what happened in the beef, but maybe it does transform the music industry a little bit.
And if Drake does a halftime show at the World Cup,
oh man,
come on, dude.
See you later.
Out of here.
He's back.
Dude, Drake is back,
bro. Half the people watching can't even understand what the fuck he's saying.
It doesn't matter, bro. You get what he's saying. You get the energy. You get his sex appeal. You know what I mean? You see the bullet holes in his hoodie. That's all that matters, bro.
All that matters.
No, if he does the halftime show at the World Cup, it shuts it down.
Game over.
I'm Team Drake. Before every show, I put on Drake's hardest hits. It's a playlist on Spotify. Drake's hardest songs.
And it just goes crazy.
And you just hear a bunch of singing.
Yeah, it goes crazy, bro. It's only the hardest tracks, bro.
This is
crazy.
God's plan.
That's how I get. It's God's plan, bro. I believe dumb shit. It's God's plan, bro. Manifest destiny.
Drake's last album had a few slappers on it.
It did.
Yeah, it had a few slappers.
Give me a hug. I like
that shit is crazy. Give me a hug. It's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
baby girl.
Baby
that
girl.
shit goes crazy in the club.
All right.